So, how are Lukmaanians? Someone gave this term. So, how are Lukmaanians? Online people, कुछ तो बोलो. So good to see you again, and also new people. So, how are you? How many of you are going to write mains examination, the main question? Yes, those who have not appeared, they should not feel guilty. Your time will come next year. This. So that is how it is. Anyhow, so I think your honeymoon is over. अब कैसा लग रहा है? Right. Basically, after foundation, we are talking to them. Right. Although there are some new people, so we will take you also into consideration. So, how you feel now? Right. Have you started, or you are अभी हवन हुआ नहीं? Right. अब रिवीजन के लिए भी हवन करना पड़ेगा क्या? Right. This. क्या ऑनलाइन के लोग बोल नहीं सकते? वन वे है, हैं? आपने उनको गैग कर दिया. Right. So, anyhow, are you revising? So you should revise, otherwise it is as old as new. No. So those who are appearing in, means going to appear in mains, and those who will appear later stage, both you can consider. Now it is a time to know the art of writing answers. The main aspect is now that how you write an answer which UPSC can like, rather than you can like, isn't it? This. So that is what we'll talk today. Although we may have talked so many things about answer writing, this and that, but it is always fresh to talk on this, because always every mains examination is a fresh mains examination. This, that you can consider. So, although yes, you may be familiar about optional, but still, let's say people have been qualifying, doing their better one, isn't it? And this year again, once again, we have reinforced our trend, and all those 3 highest marks people have secured. So once again, Lukmaanians. This. Anyhow, we don't have to talk, but to just imbibe a confidence in you. The better part is that one candidate, she got second highest. She is from 2021 foundation batch. This. So there is one video which I have interacted with her. You can watch it, especially to learn, because I asked deliberately some questions. That after a long time we interacted with a foundation student, that how to make notes, how to make short notes, and further like this. The 2021 was a time we used to finish in 170, 170 classes, 80 classes, highest. She belongs to that time, so she told that she had 20 booklets. Yes. Although booklets can be small also, don't worry like this. reducing to 12 something, 12 odd or something 7 odd, exactly I do not remember. Then reducing to 2 and finally reducing to 1. This is a process, you know that. The process that you should know, and that way we can consider. So, you should also learn and how to reduce. Plus, let's say that you don't reduce in one go. You reduce when situation forces you, one by one. So when you do not have time, especially you are writing mains examination, as of now it is not a time to write some notes. Prepare some notes. Yes, although you can prepare some key terms, let's say, key points when you write your test, so some expected topics, you can prepare some keywords. Yes, only key facts, keywords you can prepare while, let's say, suppose you are writing answer, going to write test, so you can do that. But it is not certainly for the time for you if you are writing mains this year to go and write those, let's say, short notes, because you don't have time. Already you are less by 20 days and 2 months left by the time results are announced. You need 15 days to revise. So in 2 months, what you will do? Already you face a very, let's say, neck to neck situation. That can be one aspect. But those who are, let's say, going to appear later stage, they can do that. Second, if you want to get motivation, once again we have got a candidate who can inspire you, and Ravi Meena. So you can see that how many years he has been trying. A faceless person finally, let's say, appears with his face, right, with highest marks. So you can see at least 5 years, 6 years he has been, let's say, that appearing, and another, let's say, that story you can consider of Nupur Goel type. So you can see, means you can see his answers, and not, let's say, rather answers, rather his perseverance. Answers तो हम आपको लिखने सिखा देंगे. But it is about perseverance, it is the confidence that you can see. And I generally say that it is not one has to be very extraordinary. Rather, you have to be extraordinary in your efforts, even if you can be ordinary person. And that is how learning and improving. Although his rank is a bit higher, but as we think that he may have got IAS. As our conversation in past, so I guess he may have got IAS, so no need to appear again. But as far as, although these things are private, we should not tell. But let's say that they may appear again if they have not improved. Isn't it? So when they appear again, you have to compete against them. This is how it is. Anyhow, it shows, let's say, that people, they do, let's say, work hard, they do have perseverance, it does pay. There is no one story, there are several stories, let's say. If it is one, so it can be exception. But if there are several ones, so then it is not exception. The only thing is that it should work in your favor. This you can consider. So that aspect you can consider. Next, today we will talk largely about answer writing, that how you should improve your answer writing. It is focused to that aspect. As far as guessings are concerned, which topic, that topic. So already we have done, we will do it time to time. This is how, when topics are taken, chapters are taken. I will tell that. But main aspect we have to teach or tell is that how you should improve your answer writing. That aspect. Next, before we tell it, you should not try to understand that there are so many philosophies in the market depending on what you follow. but we always negate the philosophy of GS type of answer writing in optional. Although some will tell you toppers, but toppers क्या है? Toppers तो हम ही लोगों ने toppers बनाया है ना. Sorry to say that. Yes. तो हर साल ऐसे ही होते हैं, and there is a bit friction also, you know that. Whether a candidate will follow you, candidate will not follow us, that is what, it depends on the candidates. So when repeatedly people are securing marks, let's say, that's also among the highest. So we also get emboldened by what we say. This. And it has not happened once or twice or thrice, it has been happening since 2010 and 11. This. It has been happening since then. So that way, let's say that कि you should adhere, because what we find is, especially let's say कि पेपर सेकेंड में तो वैसे भी आजकल मार्क्स आता नहीं है, तो आप समझ सकते हो कि जीएस फॉलो करोगे तो क्या होगा. दिस तो challenge today is about paper 1 has a challenge, as we say, कि whether you have conceptual clarity, but paper second has challenge that whether you can give a view on the question asked, because there are so many developments related to that. This a question houses so many things, encompasses so many things. Are you able to give a view within that word limits, take a stand? That is how the challenge. And when you are writing the factuals, we know that even if it is polity, but yes, we find that people knowledge in that is also not that appreciable. This. So that way we can consider. So we will tell about paper second. It is also challenging for us how to help you secure good marks in paper second. It is not a challenge for you only. This. It is also a challenge for us. This. We have also high level of tension behind our mind, how we can make students comfortable in paper second. This. So this is what we can say, and we try or whatever we can do. So let's take that how what you should do in case of first answer writing, then we'll teach your topics, no doubt. And we have decided after 3 years, 4 years to conduct a bit enrichment class. Right, I had stopped since 2019. So last class was 2019. Thereafter we stopped enrichment class, but we felt कि नहीं, enrichment class होना चाहिए if you want to compete and further take public administration level a bit higher. This. So this that way. So we'll take that also. So when we write answers, let's say that. You have written answers also, isn't it? By the way, answer writing, what you face the difficulty? जिसने आंसर लिखा है, जिसने नहीं लिखा है, don't feel guilty, आप लिखोगे बाद में. Linking problem. Yes, means problem, let's say challenge. First is let's example. Second is demand. Next, structuring answer. Speed. स्पीड के लिए तो रामदेव बाबा हेल्प कर सकते हैं. Word limit exceeding not a problem, but yes, let's say that. Word limit. Next. Any other problem? Yes?
Body part, facts and this
बॉडी पार्ट, स्ट्रक्चरिंग हो गया फिर तो, isn't it? Structuring problem. Yes. Any other? Recollection of content and making a structured answer to the demand. तो recollection of content, yes, वो तो revision related problem है. Recollection of content. This retention of data. This the retention of data, let's say. Someone is writing. Anyhow, how to practice and evaluate these days? क्या बात? That will deal later stage. How to practice. कोई कंटेंट की बात नहीं करता है. That सारी प्रॉब्लम्स में कोई भी कंटेंट की बात नहीं करता है, बट हम लोगों के साइड से मेन प्रॉब्लम इज कंटेंट. यस, नॉट दीज प्रॉब्लम्स. बस आपको लगता है कि स्ट्रक्चरिंग की वजह से मार्क्स नहीं आ रहा है, आपको लगता है कि दिस का व्हाट वी से दैट एग्जाम्पल देने से नहीं आ रहा है, या लगता है कि वर्ड लिमिट एक्सीड हो रहा है, बट नो. थिंक अबाउट द आंसर्स रिटन बाय अदर पीपल और योर आंसर्स. क्या है डिस्टिंग्विशिंग फैक्टर? एटलीस्ट दोज हु हैव सिक्योर्ड बेटर मार्क्स एंड यू हैव ऑल्सो रिटन योर आंसर, तो आपको उसमें क्या डिफरेंस लगता है? हो सकता है मैं गलत हूँ, बट आपने अपना कॉपी कंपेयर किया होगा, तो क्या डिफरेंस लगता है? स्ट्रक्चरिंग? राइट, तो वो कंटेंट की बात हो गई. राइट, आप कोहेरेंस की बात कीजिए, कोहेरेंस इन कंटेंट. ठीक है, कि हम उस कंटेंट को प्रेजेंट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं ना, कोहेरेंस नहीं ला पा रहे हैं. दिस यू कैन से दैट इट इज नॉट ए. यस, योर राइट पॉइंट इज ऑल्सो राइट. यू टोल्ड दैट वे कि हाउ टू गिव ए सुटेबल एग्जाम्पल विच इज रिलेटेड टू कंटेंट. एनी अदर हु हैज कंपेयर्ड? Yes. Any other?
Sir, demand and like we write overall, but they write to the specific content to the demand. So that becomes they get more marks. Otherwise, the examiner sees that he is writing some rubbish here and there. He does not know the exact.
Yes. Yes, you see their copies. Now अब तो और लोगों के भी copies आ गए हैं. Right. तो रवि मीना का भी अवेलेबल है. दंशी क्या नाम है? Right. Annanya Srivastav. The Annanya Srivastav, her copy is also available. And Khushhali Solanki, yes, her copy is also available. तो ये 2-3 नए कॉपीज आ गए. राइट, पहले के आपके पास कॉपीज है ही, आप देख सकते हो. राइट, सो दैट वे वी कैन सी. एंड
आपके जो कमेंट पढ़े थे, जो आपने कमेंट उसमें लिखे थे, इसमें कई क्वेश्चनों में आपने कुछ नहीं लिखा है कि कंटेंट पे फोकस करो दिमाग में, वो समझ में. लेकिन जब मैं उनकी 8 या 9 की कॉपी देखता हूँ, वहाँ पर जाकर मुझे स्कोर काफ़ी हो जाता है.
देखो, कुछ लोग होते हैं जो इम्प्रूव कर जाते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि बाकी लोग नहीं कर पाएंगे, बट ऐसा चमत्कार कैसे होता है? तो कुछ लोगों के साथ होता है. राइट, कैसे होता है? तो यू हैव अंकिता चौधरी, उसका भी कभी देख लेना कॉपी. दैट एग्जाम्पल वी गिव, राइट। देखो पहले के कॉपीज बहुत ज़्यादा अपलोड नहीं होता है, इसलिए नहीं होता है कि पहले के टेस्ट में मार्क्स ही नहीं आता है। इसका एक वजह है, कई बार कॉपीज जो अपलोड हो रहा है टेस्ट 5 हो रहा है, टेस्ट 6 हो रहा है, 7, 8 हो रहा है, तो आप सोचोगे कि टेस्ट 1 क्यों नहीं है? अरे मार्क्स ही नहीं आया तो क्या अपलोड करेंगे? दिस तो बोला था ना रवि ने कि 73 आया था उसका। उसके पहले टेस्ट में 73 के आसपास आया था। अब सोचो अभी क्या है। तो इसका मतलब कि लोग इम्प्रूव करते हैं, किसी का भी पहला टेस्ट नहीं है, राइट। जो अभिलाष का भी पता ही होगा क्या बोलता है कि कितना था पहले टेस्ट में, तो वो तो कॉपी ही नहीं मिलेगा आपको। तो कई बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने बाद में इम्प्रूव किया है, राइट। यस, आलोक कुमार, वो यही बैठता था। तो 40 रैंक आए, यस 41 रैंक। तो यस उसके भी ऐसे ही, राइट। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे हैं, लेट्स से दैट कि नाउ दे आर इन सर्विस। इफ यू टेक लेट्स से कि दिस अंकिता चौधरी, शी वाज राइटिंग, तो टेस्ट 5 यस टेस्ट 4 तक आप इसके मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि वो है नहीं कॉपीज तो आपको मिलेगा नहीं। बट टेस्ट 5 से, क्योंकि आई रिमेंबर दैट, सो दैट्स वाई आई एम शेयरिंग दैट कि टेस्ट 5 और टेस्ट 4 में काफ़ी डिफरेंस हो गया। This and then it reaches like gradually reaches to 137, it reaches to 140 around like this। एक ही टेस्ट में, मतलब एक ही साल में ऐसा होता है, ये 2 साल में नहीं होता है, एक ही साल में ऐसा होता है। तो लेट्स से कि व्हेन शी स्टार्टेड गेटिंग द रिमार्क्स और जो भी कमेंट्स होता है, तो पहले टेस्ट तो हो गया ऐसे ही, दूसरे टेस्ट में भी बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ होता नहीं, तो तीसरे चौथे में आपने चेंज करने की कोशिश किया बट वो दिखा नहीं रिफ्लेक्ट। 5वें टेस्ट से वो चेंज हो जाता है, और एक बार चेंज हो जाता है कॉन्फिडेंस मिल जाता है, बाकी तो बस। सो दैट लेट्स से कि कैन हैव सेवरल प्रॉब्लम्स ना। प्रॉब्लम्स ये है कि आपके कंटेंट है कि नहीं, अगर कंटेंट है तो कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी है कि नहीं। दिस पीपल आर राइटिंग सो मेनी थिंग्स नाउ, so able to understand demand question but able to not put content in right place. This is how main usage content related, then this conceptual clarity, this interlinkage, demand question, how to write general question, this lack of patience to improve, that is also this। So होता क्या है ना कि that we tell in the first class when we take, let's say it is self belief। आपका सेल्फ बिलीफ ही स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए ना। दिस विच आई से ऑलवेज दैट कि फर्स्ट यू स्टार्ट हैविंग द सेल्फ बिलीफ, आप अपने आप में बिलीव करो। देखो ये प्रॉब्लम हम लोगों को भी होता है ना, बट हम नहीं शेयर कर सकते वो सब। फिर आपको लगेगा कि वो हम तो हमेशा मोटिवेटेड रहते हैं, राइट। दिस तो वो सारी चीज़ें हम नहीं शेयर कर सकते हैं, बट एक टीचर को ऑलवेज चैलेंज होता है कि उसके स्टूडेंट्स अच्छा कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, बस। और अगर अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको ये होता है कि जो वो बता रहा है वो वर्क नहीं कर रहा है, ये चैलेंज होता है। आपको चैलेंज है कि मार्क्स आ रहा है कि नहीं, हमारा चैलेंज तो आपसे भी बड़ा है। तो उसके लिए आपको सेल्फ बिलीफ चाहिए ना, आपके अंदर बिलीफ होना चाहिए। बस इवन इफ कि इतने सालों के गाइडेंस के बाद भी ऐसा होता है, बिकॉज इट इज ऑलवेज चैलेंजिंग, बिकॉज UPSC यू नो दैट इट्स द वे इट हैज इट्स पैटर्न ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन। तो सेल्फ बिलीफ लेट से दैट कि यू हैव टू हैव कि आपके अंदर एक सेल्फ बिलीफ होना चाहिए। देन यू लुक इनटू सिंसियरली कि आपके अंदर प्रॉब्लम कहाँ हो रहा है, आपका प्रॉब्लम क्या है। प्रॉब्लम क्या कंटेंट में है तो आप कंटेंट पे वर्क करो। प्रॉब्लम क्या एग्जाम्पल देने में है तो आप एग्जाम्पल्स को सही करो। फिर भाई किस थिंकर, जैसे यू आर सेइंग कि एग्जाम्पल कैसे कहाँ देना है ना, इसका मतलब कि जब आपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ा है तो उस समय ये नहीं पढ़ा है कि उसको एग्जाम्पल से रिलेट कैसे करना है, राइट। कहीं ना कहीं फ्लॉ वहाँ पे है। तो अब हमें जब कोई चीज़ हम पढ़ रहे होते हैं तो हमें ये देखना होगा कि वहाँ पे हम एग्जाम्पल्स के साथ कैसे रिलेट करेंगे। दिस तो आपका ज़्यादा फोकस उस एरिया में होना चाहिए, ना कि जस्ट कि इन जनरल वी आर जस्ट राइटिंग।
जैसे आपकी क्लास में उसको पढ़ते हैं तो उसके साथ आपने एग्जांपल अच्छे कोट करेंगे, लेकिन मेरे को दिक्कत ये आती है ना कि अगर मैं उनकी कॉपीज देखूँ बच्चों की, तो उन्होंने करंट अफेयर के एक्यूरेट एग्जांपल, अब वो अपडेटेड मिलेंगे नहीं कि
देखो होता क्या है कि जहाँ तक कि आप कॉपी देख रहे हैं ना, वहाँ तक का एनरिचमेंट क्लास चलता था, ठीक है। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो ऐसा नहीं कि वो बाकी सब चीज़ें अपने से ही लिख रहे हैं। आपको आज के डेट में लग रहा है कि उन्होंने अपने से लिखा है, बट उनको भी ये प्रॉब्लम था। वो जिस नुपुर गोयल की बात करते हो ना, सी यूज टू सिट देयर, वो सीट है उसका, मतलब हर आदमी का एक अपना सीट होता है। तो दिस इज हाउ इट इज़। और मैं यूज टू चेक कॉपीज, तो होगा क्या, एक आंसर अच्छा लिखा तो दूसरा अच्छा नहीं लिखा, ऐसा क्लास में होता था। तो एक अच्छा लिखा तो दूसरा अच्छा नहीं, तो फिर रिग्रेट, अफसोस होता था कि दूसरा अच्छा क्यों नहीं लिखा। तो उसका दूसरा फ़ायदा होता था कि वो लोग जैसे क्लास में आंसर एनरिचमेंट का ये फ़ायदा होता, चूँकि मैंने पढ़ाना छोड़ दिया था, बट उसका बेनिफिट ये होता था कि बच्चे आपस में शेयर कर रहे हैं ना, आंसर देख रहे हैं ना, किसने अच्छा लिखा है, पर डिस्कशन हो रहा है, तो ऑन द स्पॉट यू लर्न दिस, तो दैट ब्रिंग्स मोर रिटेंशन ऑफ लर्निंग दिस। और उसके पीछे कई साल का एफर्ट्स है, आपको ये भी पता होना चाहिए। हाउ मेनी ईयर्स शी हैज़ गिवन? 6 years। और पहली बार जब वो क्लास में आई थी तो यहाँ बैठी थी, दिस दैट आई रिमेम्बर। और उस समय हम जानते नहीं थे उसको ज़्यादा, उसमें होता था कि ये क्लास पूरा भरा होता था, इनफैक्ट यहाँ तक लोग बैठते थे जब ऑनलाइन नहीं था दिस, तो क्लास पूरा भरा होता था, ये ऐसी वैसी काम करता नहीं था इतने सारे बच्चे हो जाते थे कि ऐसी भी वर्क नहीं करता था दिस। तो उस समय का है कि वो सी यूज टू सिट हियर, बट चूँकि उसका चेहरा थोड़ा स्माइल फेस है तो उससे सी केम अंडर नोटिस दिस। बट फ्रॉम देयर जर्नी स्टार्ट्स ना, इट इज ए लॉन्ग जर्नी दिस। yes, certainly we don't want that कि everyone should have that long journey this, but it shows also कि किसी को improve करने में टाइम लगता है और किसी को improve करने में टाइम नहीं लगता है बस, तो कोई improve कर जाता है, it give you that kind of confidence like this. For us main problem is content हमारे तरफ से, और हमारा हमेशा रिमार्क्स कंटेंट पे होगा दिस। इफ यू रीड द कॉपीज आवर रिमार्क्स विल ऑलवेज बी ऑन कंटेंट, इसलिए कि मेन प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे है, कंटेंट में ही है। क्यों? इसलिए कंटेंट को आपने पढ़ा कैसे है, समझा कैसे है, तो जैसे पढ़ोगे वैसे ही तो प्रोड्यूस करोगे दिस। तो अगर आप पढ़ाई ठीक से नहीं है तो प्रोड्यूस कैसे करोगे आप? समझ में नहीं आया तो लिखोगे क्या? ऑर्गेनाइज थॉट नहीं है तो ऑर्गेनाइज आंसर कैसे होगा? दिस दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। आपको लगता है कि लिखने में प्रॉब्लम है, नो, लिखने में कहां से प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है? अरे हाँ, तो वही लिखेगा जो सोचोगे दिस। तो जब तक वो ऑर्गेनाइज थॉट नहीं होता है, राइट, यस राइट, सो थोड़ा सा लगता है राइट, यूपी वालों का इन्फ्लुएंस है। नाउ लेट स्पीक फॉर्मली, राइट राइट। सो what we were saying is that yes, the way you read something, the way you, let's say, learn the means your content. So if content is not organized, your thought will not be organized. Like say let's say the way we teach in the class. So what we do, how we dictate, how does it come? Right. How does it come? Each point is so organized, so structured, in order also. Right. So it is that there is a lot, means we have lots of, let's say, efforts behind that. This. So forget about this. Let's say that any current development we have, you read any current development. So do you have in your mind that I have to read this current development in organized way? What is organized way? You have any case. That case, are you trying to know the most important aspect of that case first? Or you are trying to just read and know all those 5 points? If you are trying to know just 4-5 points, rather than knowing what is the main point, so when you will not know the main point, what you will write? 4-5 points. And most probably, not the most point. Most probably you will not write the most important point. And that is how here you miss the things. Right. So that way we have to understand. So everything that you read, like suppose we have to read anything, no? So we will see that thing. कोई भी judgment है, we will see what is the main thing. This, what is the main aspect of the judgment? What is the case? This, and what is the stand of the, not petitioner, what government has responded. यही तो चाहिए आपको. इसलिए कि आपको केस के फेवर में लिखना है. आप केस के अगेंस्ट में अगर कुछ लिखोगे तो क्या लिखोगे? गवर्नमेंट का स्टैंड. दिस. So the question is, but so many things you can read about a topic. So your efforts should be that are you organizing your content, and then you should not write too many things. Too many things that we have fixed the limit that you should never write more than 4-5 points. This. So when you are writing answer, you have to write 4-5 points. So again, that is how it is organization and structuring of the content. This first. Second, we say also that see, you should have ability to write in essence also and write in details also. This, have you developed this ability to write in essence also and write in details also? So we do not find it. Often we find that you are lagging it. This, and even if people have written several mains examination, but still they lag it. Why it is? Like say CAG, can you write CAG in 4-5 points? Suppose you have to write CAG in 2-3 lines. You have to write 73rd amendment in 2-3 lines. वो 6 point वाला नहीं. तो क्या आप 2-3 points में 73rd amendment का सारा basics लिख सकते हैं? तो if you are not able to write, तो आप कैसे finish करोगे within limit? कभी आपने बैठ के सोचा है कि मुझे इसको 3 point में ही लिखना है? या मान लो कि 3 point में नहीं हो सकता है, एक पैराग्राफ हो सकता है. Like, can I write the features of 73rd amendment in 3 points? इसलिए कि 6 points में तो कभी लिखना नहीं है आपको. You don't have a space to write. So that is a problem. Same thing, let's say कि how many institutions we have. Can you write Simon in 2-3 lines? This. So if you develop such abilities, your content itself is going to be short. We have to apply efforts to make content short. Without application of efforts, content will not be short. It is easy to write a long answer, difficult to write a short answer. This. So that demands practice. Right. Practice, you can say. How practice? We often say that you write 100 introduction, एक दिन बैठो और 100 introduction लिखो ना फिर. Right. 100 introduction लिखने में कितना टाइम लगेगा? After 100th introduction, you are a changed person. But we will not sit and write it. This, you are not able to conclude. Conclusion ही लिखना शुरू करो सिर्फ. देखो ट्रेनिंग तो वहाँ होना चाहिए जहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है. Training should not happen on entire subject. Training should always be on the weak area that you are. This, अगर किसी को someone has retention problem, तो you revise it. Focus on revision. This. So that is what we have to have, self-belief, plus you have to look into yourself. What is your strength? What is your weakness? Your strength gives you confidence and minimizes your efforts. In strength areas, you give less effort, and in weak area, you apply more efforts. So tomorrow weak area will also become strong. So that is what we can consider, like, although saying is, I know that ki saying is very, let's say that ki easier than doing the things, but ultimately let's say ki people do that. Na? Yes, people do that, you should also do. This is how it is. This somehow the answers will lag, that's why marks will not be rewarded. And you can see that even the person who tops the, let's, if you see their copies, I may have given some negative remarks, but at the same time, the copy will also have some positive remarks. This. And किसी किसी में तो ऐसे remarks होगा कि you are thinking exactly the way I think. ऐसे भी remarks दिया जाता है. तो कुछ ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, राइट, कि दे थिंक द वे यू कैन थिंक, बिकॉज उन्होंने कैच कर लिया है, जस्ट लर्न कर लिया, तो दे हैव डेवलप्ड दैट थिंकिंग. दिस, सो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. लेट्स से कि यू हैव टू सी, रीड द क्वेश्चंस, अंडरस्टैंड द एग्जामिनर्स माइंड कि व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू आस्क, एंड इट टेक्स एफर्ट्स, यू नो दैट. दिस, you should watch, means watch I am saying, you should see not only Nupur copies, you have Priyanka Goel also, right. So she also writes good answer, because we tell to those students who have applied efforts, let's say that, they have applied efforts, then they have improved, right. And you can see ki how, in fact, towards end it becomes so fine. This, what I may have told, let's say, it is like they may have prepared different things here and there, let's say that, facts, examples. So it can be facts, it can be examples, it can be name of thinker, it can be any such, let's say, current development linking, interlinking. They may have prepared separately, but they can create a coherence in them by linking in their answer. And once they are able to create a coherence, so it is like coordination of Fredericks. Coherence is, you know, the symphony, isn't it? This, so that is how it happens. So have confidence, believe in yourself, apply efforts, leave it to UPSC for your results. This is what I can say, right? Anyhow, let's talk, right? This, we will try to address all these things. First thing, let's come on structuring. This, so when we are structuring it, so this is the basic aspect. Now, see, introduction, if you cannot write essence, you cannot write context, तो आपके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, बेसिक से स्टार्ट करो. Yes. But we can have multiple strategies. In some questions basics are clear. अगर कैग का है तो आप ठीक है बेसिक से ही शुरू कर दो. अगर पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस तो बेसिक से ही शुरू कर दो. इसलिए कि आपको प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, पहले इंट्रोडक्शन लिखोगे, अपने आप 3-4 लाइन का लंबा हो जाएगा, तब तक बेसिक पर आ गए तो वो भी लंबा हो गया, तो आंसर ऐसे ही लंबा हो गया. दिस, इट्स बेटर दैट कि बेसिक से यू कैन एडजस्ट योर सेल्फ, बट वी ऑलवेज प्रीफर एसेंस. वी टीच and we prefer about essence. Essence, writing in essence demand writing skill. Yes, like say CAG. So we have already told you CAG. If you have to introduce CAG, the simple 2-3 तो term होता है उसका. CAG is the conscience keeper and controls the purse of the government in upholding financial accountability. Yes, हमेशा याद रखो. CAG का क्वेश्चन आ गया, पहले इंट्रोडक्शन लिखो, फिर क्वेश्चन पढ़ो. दिस इज व्हाट लेट्स से दैट इट वर्क्स, राइट. तो बहुत सारे ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिसका तो इंट्रोडक्शन आपका प्रिपेयर्ड है और यह होना चाहिए. इतना ज़्यादा हैबिचुअल हो जाओ, यू बिकम सो हैबिचुअल और so many times you revise कि it becomes these things are on your tongue. This RTI या साइमन का ही, suppose you have to introduce Simon, तो क्या करना है? Simon is one of the most important behavioral thinker who is known for his decision making theory. This इतना ही तो लिखना है और इतना ही लिखते नहीं है. इतना ही लिखने में काफ़ी टेंशन हो रहा है, शुरू कैसे करना है. This so you have to prepare some ready-made things और वो आपके पास उसका नोट्स जरूर हो सकता है. You can make notes of each thinker who are relevant. जो irrelevant है, आता नहीं है, छोड़ दो उसको. This तो इस साल कौन आ सकता है, this is how that can be taught later stage. So you can make it ना. NPM है तो एक इंट्रोडक्शन बना लो पूरे. हमारे टेस्ट में 4 क्वेश्चन होगा NPS से, but in UPSC there will be 1 question. This if there is 1 question, so there should not be any difficulty in beginning, na, irrespective of the question. This at least introduction is clear, and if you are writing good introduction, at least आपके 19 question के introduction तो अच्छे हैं. Right. This is how impression you create na at the end of the paper. Let's say that you create an impression that कि introduction अच्छा लिखता है. This something take away, and it's quite possible. इसमें कोई mind लगाना नहीं है. This, but you do not have standard prepared introduction. We know it. अभी तो टेस्ट शुरू होगा ना तो पता चलेगा. This क्यों? Because you are entangled in your own life process. आपका एक जो लाइफ है जो इस कमरे के बाहर है, तो you are entangled in that cycle. Right. So something is stopping you, right, to do all these things. So that way we can consider. So each topic which is important, you should have that essence wala. Plus UPSC itself reduces your effort. All those current contemporary development, right, the context. Yes, if it is related to governor, so governors always remain in controversy, although it is a constitutional position. No, this so it is better than the term or the you struggle to write a particular term on this. Yes, that way you can consider. So, contextual question. There are some contextual questions. If they ask direct benefit transfer, they have asked Atmanirbhar Bharat. So you know that Atmanirbhar Bharat was recently launched, which aims at making India self-reliant. This is what we have to write. Have you written this in articulated way? No. यही 3-4 लाइन का हो गया या भूल ही गया लिखना. This, so that is what you have to tell to yourself. It is right. Right. Is it necessary to write as per tail words? Yes, it is. Yes, it is important to follow the command. नहीं तो line and length होगा नहीं. तो हो जाओगे आप, क्या नाम है उसका, रिटायर्ड हो गया, सुहाब अख्तर. तो कभी बॉल लगेगा तो हिट होगा, नहीं तो मैग्राथ बनोगे नहीं आप. दिस कमांड्स आर लाइन एंड लेंथ, फॉलो इट. यूपीएससी फूल तो है नहीं, and we have been telling since that time you should follow it. So that way we can consider. Yes, we'll talk about you also, what you should do thereafter. No, example it depends on the question ka demand kya hai. Then next come to this body part. In body part we always tell that ki once you have started this or once you have started this and learn to write introduction only in 2-3 lines. आप अगर उससे ज़्यादा लिख रहे हो तो सोचो कि मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ. This, even if we have told in our notes 4-5 lines, 6 lines, don't write that ना. उसी का 2-3 ही लाइन लिखो बस. बाकी का नहीं लोगे तो कुछ होने वाला. एग्जामिनर को पता ही नहीं था कि कितने लाइन का था वो. उसको थोड़ा पता है कि कितने लाइन का. Right. So the question is that you write 2-3 lines also. Why we write it that time? Because that time it is a foundation class, right? This, so you have to be taught in that way to understand it. This, and nature of questions can be different. So that's why you have to, let's say that know that way. Now it is a time to customize your answers. This. Then this is called, we generally say, basics. Your second paragraph should be basics most of the times. If you have started with basics, it is not needed. But if you have not started with basics, it is always, let's say, it should be basics. And we, let's say that you find that students, let's say, if once you build this habit, it becomes part and parcel of your answer writing. So when you are checking their copy, check this also, how they write and how long they write. This. So how they manage it, because students are not able to manage the basic part. Either they forget it or they write it very long. This. So both way it is not right, and unless you write basic, it will not be connected. This सिंपल सी बात है, अगर साइमन का ही क्वेश्चन है और साइमन के बारे में उस आंसर में है ही नहीं, राइट, तो फिर आप क्या लिख रहे हो आंसर? दिस एंड यू मैच द आंसर. कोई लिखता नहीं कि साइमन, लेट्स से कि बिहेवियरल थिंकर, रोट हिज पॉपुलर वर्क एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव बिहेवियर, आर सिंपल. He propounded his decision-making theory in administrative behavior, which was considered an important contribution to the field of public administration. Yes. So we do not write it. आपको लगता है कि इतना लिखने से स्पेस कंटेंट ज़्यादा हो जाएगा? बिल्कुल नहीं. बाकी का स्पेस कम कर दो. This. So you should write. Let's say कि suppose we take any example, we take any one example. Suppose we start with new public management. This, the new public management, you know that it is the second reinvention of government as per George Frederickson, which emerged during 1990s, led by Osborne and Gablet. That's all. Now you come to this basic. The basic क्या है? NPM. NPM brings business-like approach influenced by neoliberal philosophy, which has following characteristics. And then you write the 3 characteristics: regulation, facilitation, marketization, and managerialism. This. So this happens. तो आप तो फिनिश हो गया बेसिक्स. अब आप आ जाओ क्वेश्चन. क्वेश्चन क्या डिमांड करता है? Yes. यस, डिपेंडिंग. आप किसी भी अगर वो काफ़ी आर्टिकुलेटेड है, टर्म्स उसके हैं, तो आप ऐसे लिख सकते हैं. बेहतर कोशिश करो कि बेसिक्स में 1-2 लाइन लिख. आफ्टर राइटिंग 1 and 2 lines, you write their keywords. Yes. अच्छा, इफ यू वांट टू डू रेस, तो वो भी कर सकते हो आप. ऐसे बोल दो. Right. This. This you are saying. Yes. ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं. Yes, it is enough. See, question is not asking ki write basics. What you are trying to do is that ki basics are way to reach to the main question. This is how. जैसे entrance है ना, तो entrance आप enter होते हैं ना, तो it's like entrance. Let's say that कि you go to the main question. The basics should be finished in as articulated manner and as, let's say that ki effective manner as possible. That should be the main aspect. See, that depends on nature of question. This. Basics, when we are writing, let's say that Right. Atmanirbhar Bharat with thinkers. We come to linking part, how to link it. This, see, basics you can take like the way we have written. Suppose it's a 10-mark question. So you can write, let's say, maximum you can say that ki 4-5 lines or 4-5 points you write this. If it is 15 marks, 20 marks, you can increase 1-2 more. This, but basics should not, I can talk in page turn. Right. Suppose you have the, let's say, ki page, this, the 150 words, the half page, 1.5 page, this is how it is. So your introduction and basics should finish in this. Before half or just exactly half. This, it's better to you finish in this. You take less than half space and then you can start the main question. Similarly, conclusion, again it should not be 2-3 lines, more than 2-3 lines. अब पंचलाइन याद रखो, कुछ relevance याद रखो, कैसे ही हो जाएगा. Public choice is still relevant. We can find out how its impact resulted into emergence of new public management. Our public choice approach also gave rise to new public management, which even present government also follows in terms of aggressive privatization. तो कुछ तो होना चाहिए. देखो कंक्लूड करने के भी बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए. बस आपको इस चक्कर में रह रहना कि हमें परफेक्ट करना है. परफेक्ट में तो होगा ही नहीं. If you are in this chakkar that I have to just write something relevant, this, so you will be, let's say, able to write something relevant. That you can consider. So this way we can say this about this.
तो उसमें बेसिक लिखना तो कहाँ से पॉसिबल हो पाता है कि क्या लिखेंगे क्या पॉसिबल.
उसी का लिख देते हैं. Let's public administration is a highly dynamic subject which has experienced of 6 overlapping paradigms. That is introduction. Now, body part, basics. अब इसके बाद क्या लिखेंगे? Wait. What we will write after that? Yes.
Public can start with some essays. Public administration is discipline is in a state of wandering. Something of that discipline.
So then you can write that public administration as a discipline was established in 1887 on publication of Woodrow Wilson essay. Since then it has gone into its evolution and has experienced so many theories, principles, approaches, and including 6 overlapping paradigms, right? Some main features of the discipline are as follows, right? Let me explain. So either आप लिखो approach लिख दो या आप उसके 4-5 जो main core वाला होता है वो लिख दो. This, that will constitute the basic part. Right. Yes, now you tell what you are saying.
So like same thing अपन basically
नहीं, वो वैसे नहीं है. वो इस तरीके से है कि we are saying that कि it was established. Since then it has experienced so many theories, principles, approaches. Right. This we are trying to. In that context, if you are again mentioning that it is not repetition. It is not repetition. Plus, an element of repetition cannot be avoided. It is happening in different context. Or don't mention 6 paradigms here. Simply say that since 1887, it has evolved till date, experiencing following approaches and theories. और आप लिख दो organization theory, financial administration, personnel, public policy, comparative administration, or let's say theory, so you can say about classical, behavioral, NPM, then new public management, post-NPM. कुछ तो लिखेंगे ना हम रेंज दिखाने के लिए, तो वो बेसिक्स हो गया. Yes. So there is always, let's say that ki scope for writing something as basics. Right. Then thereafter you will write, after writing basics, you have to come on why it is on. It is a state of quandary. That part you will write, the main aspect of the question. Yes. After writing a state of quandary, then you have to give a counter voice also now. Counter aspect also. Then finally you have to conclude this. So that way. Now let's say that ki this state of quandary you have to explain in such a way that ki this part is, if this much length, it has of this much length. The main focus will be on this. The answer will have main content on this. Another problem is people write equal, then there is equal division. That is also a problem. If question has 3-4 parts, that they are treating as uniformly. So when you treat uniformly, it is a uniform answer. But answer should be like this. This way. अगर हमें इसको इतना फोकस करना है तो इतना करना पड़ेगा, इसको नहीं फोकस करना है तो हमें नहीं करना है. This. So similarly, let's say if you are writing this basics introduction not in the small parts, so then it will become long one. So we write less, we write more. This, that can be. But we were talking example through new public management, which other people also understand. याद तो होगा अभी तक. Anyhow, so मान लो कि क्वेश्चन आता है core and periphery. So new public management. The new public management undermines democratic accountability. मान लो सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, राइट. सो मुझे लगता है कि कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो उसका इंट्रोडक्शन बेसिक तो ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही रहेगा, ऑलमोस्ट. बट दैट यू कैन डू ओनली व्हेन यू हैव प्रिपेयर्ड योरसेल्फ. This is how. Now, once you write it, this, let's say that this one, so then you start writing question demand. What is said that it undermines democratic accountability. Now you have to write the main demand. It undermines democratic accountability. You have to write it. So what you will write thereafter? आप क्या लिखोगे आप? Thereafter, what we will write? Yes. Thereafter, we should write that this, what is democratic accountability first. When we have to prove anything, it's better to write that first, so that you can relate it later. Learn this aspect you can see as. So you can write democratic accountability. Democratic accountability is a traditional concept in public administration, in which it is based on the foundation of citizen-government relationship. This citizen-government relationship as against principal-agent relationship. So government-citizen relationship is that there is a democratic process. For instance, let's say government is held accountable through legislature, or let's say through CAG. The CAG upholds accountability of the government through legislature. But in, let's say that new public management, it is principal agent theory. Principal agent theory means, let's say that citizens are considered as customers, government is considered as agent, and it has to return profit. This, so then it brings relationship in terms of customer, and let's say that ki government relationship means client and government relationship rather than citizen and government relationship, and hence it talks about performance accountability. तो आप एनालिटिकली भी लिख सकते हैं, आप चाहो तो पॉइंट में भी लिख सकते हैं. एनालिटिकली लिखोगे आप तो कंटेंट कंपैक्ट होगा, पॉइंट्स में लिखोगे आप तो कोहेरेंस का इशू होगा. इसलिए तो ऑप्शनल जब कंसेप्चुअल है तो एनालिटिकल ज़्यादा बेहतर है. एंड ऑप्शनल में ये कोई इशू है नहीं कि पॉइंट्स में लिखना है या पैराग्राफ में लिखना है. तो व्हेन यू राइट इट, अब नाउ लेट्स से कंपैक्ट ये कैसे होगा, आप प्रूफ कैसे कर रहे हो, तो आपको पास पता है ना, जब तक आप प्रिंसिपल एजेंट से रिलेट नहीं करोगे तो वो प्रूफ होगा नहीं. प्रिंसिपल एजेंट से जब तक आप प्रिंसिपल एजेंट ऑन द वन हैंड, गवर्नमेंट, सिटीजन, द डेमोक्रेटिक कंसेप्ट, अनलेस यू रिलेट इट, it will not be proved. And when it will not be proved, no matter how better content you write, आप बोलोगे कि हमने एग्जाम्पल नहीं लिखा था, आप बोलोगे कि स्ट्रक्चरिंग नहीं हुआ, हम बोलेंगे कि आपने तो प्रूफ ही नहीं किया. Right? This, so that you can write the principal agent aspect. This, after writing principal agent and customer, आपको कुछ एग्जाम्पल अब यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल देना है, राइट, कि कैसे डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी को अंडरमाइन करता है. तो हाउ इट अंडरमाइंस डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी, क्या एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं आप बताओ, आज के एग्जाम्पल्स. हाउ एनपीएम अंडरमाइंस डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी, गिव सम एग्जाम्पल्स. कुछ याद है? यस, हाँ, ये तो आप टेल दैट, व्हाट इज दैट? प्राइवेटाइजेशन एयरपोर्ट्स, बट सिर्फ प्राइवेटाइजेशन अंडरमाइन नहीं करता है, राइट, आपको उसमें कुछ समथिंग स्पेसिफिक बोलना पड़ेगा. प्राइवेटाइजेशन एज सच डज नॉट अंडरमाइन दिस. Bottled water is clientization, कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, बट नॉट दैट गुड एग्जाम्पल. हो सकता है. अरे यार, पॉलिटी पढ़ के आए हो क्या? राइट, अब चैलेंज कहाँ है? एग्जाम्पल्स, राइट. चैलेंज दो जगह है. एक कि आर यू एग्जैक्टली हाउ बाय आर्टिकुलेशन, द थिंग आई टोल्ड वाज आर्टिकुलेशन, प्रिंसिपल एजेंट, सिटीजन, गवर्नमेंट. आर यू आर्टिकुलेटिंग क्लियरली इन लेट्स से फ्यू वर्ड्स कि यू प्रूव इट कि यस हाउ देयर इज अंडरमाइनिंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी. एंड सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट इज आर यू गिविंग ए अप्रोप्रिएट example. If you are not giving appropriate example, it will not be proved effectively. अभी तो बहुत सारे डिस्कशन चल रहा था, आप यूजर चार्जेस बोलो ना, यूजर चार्जेस कंसेप्ट, राइट. तो यूजर चार्जेस कंसेप्ट इन विच देर इज लेट्स से क्लाइंटलाइजेशन ऑफ पब्लिक सर्विसेज लाइक वाटर सप्लाई, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, दिस गैस सिलेंडर्स, others, where people may not be able to pay, especially the common man. This, they will not be able to pay. So that user charges undermines relationship between citizen and government. This सबसे अच्छा एग्जाम्पल अभी चल रहा था, जैसे कि दिल्ली मेरठ हाईवे है, राइट. दिल्ली मेरठ हाईवे इज द ओनली कार्स अलाउड, बाइकर्स नॉट अलाउड. दिस, so when bikers not allowed, so are you creating certain classes of services only for certain class of citizens? Then, although the money तो पैसा सब तक सबका है, right? पैसा तो सबका है, ऐसा नहीं कि जो जा रहा है वो यूजर चार्जेस दे रहा है. पैसा तो जो जा रहा है उसका पेट्रोल भी है, और पेट्रोल का जो टैक्स लगता है वो आप भी देते हो, डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली पीपल आर ऑल्सो लिंक्ड. और इसी तरह का कोई एक हाईवे था ना जिसपे कि अलाउड नहीं था बाइकर्स, तो हाई कोर्ट ने अलाउ किया था. राइट. दिल्ली नोएडा वाला था. यस. सो पीपीपी मॉडल, आईआरसीटीसी, ये सब नहीं होगा आपको. एक राइट, समवन इज राइटिंग, ठीक है, अगर मजे लेने के लिए है तो अच्छा बात है. एलोकेशन ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स टू अडानी. अरे हाउ एलोकेशन ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट टू अडानी अंडरमाइंस. आपका एग्जाम्पल स्पेसिफिक होना चाहिए. तो दैट इज हाउ यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर योर एग्जाम्पल्स ना. जो भी एग्जाम्पल आप कह रहे हो वो सब जेनेरिक एग्जाम्पल है. दिस, तो दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव टू प्रिपेयर एंड दैट शुड बी टुडे वन. जो हमने बोला था अभी, जो हाईवे वाला इशू चल रहा है ना, तो आपको अभी का होना चाहिए. जब हमने आपको ही पढ़ाया होगा तो हमने पुराना कोई और एग्जाम्पल बताया होगा. दिस, सो एग्जाम्पल्स. अब यहाँ पे आएगा कनेक्टिविटी. कनेक्टिविटी इन द सेंस कि इफ यू आर गिविंग करेंट एग्जाम्पल्स, इट कनेक्ट्स योर आंसर विथ recent developments. If you are giving older examples, so your answer is not connected with current one. But those examiners who are checking your copy, they may be also more aware about the current developments rather than the past one, because they remain in news. They remain for some time in news, some of the things. Anyhow, that's not the point. Now after that, suppose कि अब डिपेंड करता है, ये तो हो गया कि कोई भी क्वेश्चन आएगा तो आप ये आंसर लिखोगे. इसके बाद आते हैं कमांड पे. राइट. तो वी टोल्ड इट कि एनपीएम अंडरमाइंस suppose you write examine this. So what you will write? So will you follow anything? Or even let's say it is discussed also, let's say that. This. That way we can say. Or suppose I say critically examine. Critically examine तो नहीं आएगा, critically analyze. अब क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन क्यों नहीं आएगा? निगेट करना पड़ेगा, और वो तो सही है कि अंडरमाइन करता है. तो क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन तो कमांड आ नहीं सकता है. वी कैन नॉट राइट क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन. इट मीन्स कि वी कैन नॉट राइट एनी कमांड. वी लेट्स से आफ्टर एनी लेट्स से क्वेश्चन, कमांड डिमांड्स स्ट्रक्चरिंग द क्वेश्चन इन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ दैट कमांड. दिस नाउ, सो क्रिटिकली एनालाइज मान लो कुछ भी है ये almost, so what you will write thereafter? When we add critically analyzed, it puts condition on example, and quality of example will decide your quality of answer. So your example, it has put condition. The day critically is added, it puts a condition on your answer. So are you qualifying that condition? This. If you are not qualifying that condition, so even if you have explained but examples not given, it will not be critical analysis, rather it can be just analysis. That is the challenge. Now, thereafter answer will remain same even if let's say examine में वो examples की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप लिख भी सकते हो, नहीं भी लिख सकते हो. But thereafter we have to write something counter aspect. No, does it undermines democratic accountability. But then if it undermines, what is the beauty of this? What is the benefit of new public management? How you will defend it? The defense will write towards end. No, so what will be the defense? Yes, so now again it depends ki how long you write it. You can write short also, you can write long also, and in relevance also you have to write examples. So when you are writing in relevance also examples, the choice of examples, what you are writing, this Again, whether you write current one or you write the old one, that depends. And that is how we can say that. The simple we can say, yes, although it undermines democratic accountability, but efficiency is also important. Yes, means government cannot achieve efficiency without bringing new public management in its practices. That's why even after, let's say that 2 decades you can consider, even after 2 decades or 3 decades, we can find that how it remains relevant even in our country. Present government follows new public management in terms of, we can see how there is aggressive privatization, even performance appraisal, performance aspect you can consider. Expenditure management example we give, perform or perish or lateral entry. This, it remains relevant, but it can become even more relevant if it also brings along with performance service motive, right? And that has been restructured by new public service, and that is the conclusion. This, so that is how the length of the answer. Now, basically we tell that most of, let's say when you are reading again and again and notes you are reading, तो why you are not becoming articulative, that I wonder. मुझे ये सब कई बार समझ में नहीं आता है. This, when points are written, things are written, so why it is not coming in your answer? Right? Why it is not coming? Perhaps I find that you are trying to read so many things. You are trying to follow so many people. Right? This answer, that answer, this. So that is creating diffusion in you. And that diffusion result into, let's say, not writing the answer. This means not writing in organized fashion. So you need to follow one. आप कोई एक strategy follow करो. This. So it cannot be challenging. Challenge is more about understanding the question. This. देखो चैलेंज तो एक टाइम था कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग द क्वेश्चन, लिखने का तो चैलेंज होना ही नहीं चाहिए. लिखने का, लेट्स से कि राइटिंग चैलेंज शुड नॉट बी एज हाई एज अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्वेश्चन, अंडरस्टैंडिंग डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. दिस, अब डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, दिस इज हाउ स्ट्रक्चरिंग यू कैन से दैट. नाउ आई विल टेल दैट हियर इट सिम्स वेरी इजी, इट इज वेरी इजी टू स्ट्रक्चर. But when we explain with your copies, then it becomes, right, it becomes more clear, right, how it is being written, right. That aspect you can say. Next aspect is that try to prepare all those topics which are quantitative in nature, like all those statutory institutions that we have in syllabus, all the constitutional bodies that we have in syllabus, right. There, let's say, basics you prepare, because what I find is that when you write your answer, so let's say 73rd Amendment you are writing, Public Account Committee you are writing, but you fail to write basics. You fail to write basics, that you can say, right. So, challenge, this is how you will find that. The challenge will find, and you fail to write basics. So that is what you have to understand. Why you are not able to write basics? Because you have not practiced it, you have not prepared it. This. So at least henceforth you read last, let's say that 20 years papers are not 20 years, 10 years paper, right? You read yourself 10 years paper. Those who are writing mains, going to write mains, so you let's say read 10 years paper, prepare most common topics, and prepare your answer. Write your answer. Yes, how many answers will be? वो 50 से ज़्यादा तो होगा नहीं, right? But the process of preparing 50 answers will change you. The process. This process ज़्यादा important होता है. This, the process and you can experience that. That I will tell. Let's say they will again ask, let's say that 2 times they ask question on new localism. Similar question they have asked. 2 times they ask. Right. Are you having an answer on this? So there are topics which are repeating in nature, in paper 1 also, paper 2 also. Yes. Right. Like NPM again they will ask. Yes. So the question is this, let's say that, are you prepared? Because some topics are quite clear, but we are not prepared. This we can consider. Let's say public account committee. This committees are asked. The public accounts committee will find this. Again they will ask 73rd amendment. कुछ तो पूछेंगे ना वो. State Finance Commission कुछ तो पूछेंगे वो. This. तो वो तो it's not so challenging. But when you are writing it, let's say performance budgeting, zero-based budgeting, whatever you say that. Yes. So content, if you are preparing your answer, no, that is optimizing your preparation. Yes. And it will minimize your revision aspect. रिवीजन एस्पेक्ट और कॉन्फिडेंस तो आना चाहिए ना. आप जिसको रोल मॉडल मानते हो, उनकी कॉपीज में 2-4 ऐसे आंसर है जिससे उनको कॉन्फिडेंस मिलता है, जहाँ पे लिखा है अच्छे आंसर है. This. So the day your answer starts getting this kind of remark, ठीक है, तो then you are at that level. This. और वो अचीव करने के लिए you have to apply lots of efforts. This it takes lots of things to come to that level. So that is what we can talk as far as writing is concerned, and this aspect. Commands, let's say, we'll talk commands also. Do you understand the commands? Commands meaning, do you know? Right. So commands we can categorize as single one. Let's start with elaborate, elucidate, explain as one, then discuss this. Discuss, examine, argue, evaluate. This, I guess this much. No. This. Comment, right. Comment, let's this. So that aspect. Then there can be, let's say that, those commands which have two, let's say, keywords we bring. One is called critically analyze, critically examine, critically evaluate. This. So that can. Plus, they can use other types of things. Yes? Do you think this and that? Critically comment, but they're not regular. Yes. Analyze can be, I will talk with this answer. Critically comment. This. critically discuss this. See, they are not regular. Once they have asked, that's also, so it is not needed. कोई होगा उल्टा पुल्टा टाइप का एग्जामिनर, right? Yes. जो experiment करते हैं वो भी, right? But rather, let's see, at least one question you have of this, right? They also use at times illustrate, let's say that. Illustrate this. So that aspect. So it is simply the expansion. Right. You have to elaborate means expand it. Criticisms are not needed. This, there is no any condition. This, if you put condition, it is not a problem, but you don't have to criticize even if you do not write example. इसका कोई demand नहीं है. Simple अगर वो 2 लाइन का है तो 150 words में लिखना है. This, so there is no any, let's say, specific demand कि you have to criticize it. Question will also be normally framed. मतलब it will be a normal standard question. This, that can be. Similarly, let's say if you have elucidate. इस elucidate का एक condition ये है कि आपको criticize, you do not have to criticize. Plus दूसरा condition ये है कि you have to write examples. This. So that way we can consider. Basically, let's say, see, the way it is drafted, the question, so they want you that why, what commands basically expect. See, UPSC is trying to say that you answer the question the way we demand rather than the way you want. And this is always, there is always friction, there is always challenge, because you are writing answer in your own way. UPSC is asking answer in its own way. This, तो आप अपने flow में चलते हो. This, that is how emotions, let's say that is how largely the problem. And many a time you fail to understand the demand of question. By that you fail to understand the demand of question, right? Let's, yesterday का एक experience है तो मैं frame करता हूँ एक question. Right. हालांकि ये जीएस का क्वेश्चन है, बट लेट्स, सबको समझ में आएगा. डोंट इट. पॉलिटी नहीं पढ़ा है तो क्या कर सकते हैं. आप समझ के बताओ व्हाट इज द डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. नहीं, कमेंट इज अलग. कमेंट तो कमांड की बात है ना. क्वेश्चन, व्हाट क्वेश्चन इज डिमांडिंग.
Like that stating convenience as well as the federalism
There?
they are being ignored. मतलब they are
Hmm.
due to some problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Flexibility versus rigidity. When Poston talks about the administrative convenience,
Hmm.
then he talks about the flexibility.
Hmm.
Or जब he talks about the basic structure, then he's talking about the rigidity.
Hmm.
Cannot be changed.
Both seem to be paradoxical. What does it mean?
So both of them are countering each other. For example, all India services are being controlled by the state. It's being the administrative convenience at the same time it's constraint for both ways. They are not being seen as for administrative convenience, neither the federalism aspect is being seen. That
So can we see that centralization aspect in the administrative convenience? So central want to control states plus basis.
Hmm. Yes. Someone says that on the one hand, states, right? So online people are active. I thought they are not active. So one hand states can be divided, and the other hand states have unique federal. Yes, that is how. It means they have unique identity. On the other day, can be dismantled anytime. Yes. Now, see, इसका command से कोई मतलब नहीं है. Question understanding does not necessarily mean कि you should understand command. This question understanding demands your level of knowledge. That is how it is important. So it is not, if you know meaning of the commands, that's not big deal, you know that, because that still cannot help you understand question. Like comment का तो पता है आपको, you know what is comment. That we have to understand. कि merely knowing the meaning of the commands does not mean that you are going to understand the question. You are going to understand the question demand, but still, unless you understand the question, you cannot apply the command. Some question, this is the problem in paper second, be it GS paper second or public administration second. Question seems to be simple, but context you are not able to get, कि इसका context क्या है? In which context the question is being framed? That has become a challenge. Right? The context is basically related to Article 370 judgment of the Supreme Court. This is how it is. In Article 370 judgment of the Supreme Court, this point has been raised. You see, on the one hand, you have told that ki basic structure, federalism is a basic structure. On the other hand, you are justifying the act of the center, taking away the legislative powers in the name of administrative convenience. So after all, then which type of federal polity we have? That is paradox. Isn't it? You say that for administrative convenience, states can be destroyed. But you say that no, federal polity is a basic structure. The basic structure means you cannot destroy. Both seem to be paradoxical. Right. So that is the challenge. अब आप समझ भी गए तो इसको लिखोगे कैसे? ये और भी चैलेंजिंग है. स्ट्रक्चरिंग प्रॉब्लम समवाइज से. तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चन में आपको चैलेंज होगा कि हम स्ट्रक्चर कैसे करेंगे, राइट? बिकॉज इट हैज मल्टी लेयर्स. एनपीएम के क्वेश्चन में आपको चैलेंज नहीं होगा, साइमन के क्वेश्चन में आपको चैलेंज नहीं होगा. Question challenge is going to be more of paper second or section B, a long question, in which it is more of generic type. So that demands, again I was saying that knowledge. If you have good knowledge, that will give you power to structure and write. Yes. That's why our always problem is related to content side. We always will tell ki you improve your content. The rest of the things will fall in line. Yes. And suppose you have to write it. So basically first you have to write ki how states have been created. Article 1, this Article 1 Union of States. Then Article 3, let's say that they can be abolished. This and that. B.R. Ambedkar says that they were created for administrative convenience. Then you can write the recent judgment. Supreme Court has justified, even if legislative power of the Jammu and Kashmir taken away, but still the act of the center has been made constitutionally valid. This even also states have also been created. You know that we had 14 states, but thereafter you have so many states created. Blah blah. First part. Second part, however, federal polity, the Indian constitution, and at the same time it has federal polity, and it is sui generis, what Ambedkar says, unique type, flexible. Schedule 7, 246, this blah blah you can consider. Then S.R. Bombay case, Keshwanand Bharti case, in which Supreme Court also went on saying that federalism is a basic structure. ये सारा तो background हो गया question का. अब मेन आर्गुमेंट है कि हाउ दे आर पैराडॉक्सिकल. देन यू आर्ग्यू कि हाउ दे आर पैराडॉक्सिकल. देन बट इट सीम्स दैट कि इन द एवोल्यूशन ऑफ दिस फेडरल पॉलिटी बोथ हैव बिकम पैराडॉक्सिकल, बिकॉज ऑन द वन हैंड फेडरल एनीथिंग दैट इज बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर इट कैन नॉट बी डिस्ट्रॉयड. तो फेडरलिज्म इज ए बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर, इट मीन्स इट शुड प्रोटेक्ट स्टेट्स. बट ऑन द अदर हैंड स्टेट्स आर नॉट protected. They can be destroyed even by ordinary majority. It seems that states have no sanctity. But then whether they are paradoxical? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. अब आपको और लाना पड़ेगा कुछ argument. That see, we went for union of states to maintain unity and integrity. The states will be treated as administrative convenience when you have to maintain unity and integrity. There they may not have sanctity. But in other areas, we have quasi-federal polity, other areas they will enjoy autonomy. Like say in 97th Amendment Act. In 97th Amendment Act, Supreme Court went on, let's say that nullifying those amendments which were arbitrary, encroaching on the powers of the स्टेट्स. आपको एक दो ऐसा जजमेंट दिखाना होगा जहां पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने स्टेट्स के ऑटोनॉमी को प्रोटेक्ट किया है. दिस इवन दिस मोहित मिनरल केस जीएसटी काउंसिल वाला वो भी मेंशन कर सकते हैं. दिस तो बेसिकली वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इन आवर फेडरल पॉलिटी. इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स मोर फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी रादर देन पैराडॉक्स. दिस इज हाउ. And that is what you need to conclude like this. Anyhow, that's not the point. Point is that just I wanted to have a question on this. There is understanding problem. This that you can consider. Or if you take public administration, if you remember new localism, so what it says? New localism defeats the very purpose of the 74th Amendment Act. No. Do you remember? What does it mean? We have told several times. It defeats that's the very purpose of 74th Amendment Act. How it defeats? Lack of digitalization. Yes, you are forgetting. See, now let's say that this question demands understanding two things. you have to understand 74th Amendment Act, and then you have to understand new localism, and then you have to apply what the question is asking. So, you have to understand 74th Amendment Act in essence, what exactly it was, not in features, and how, let us say, it undermines new localism. So, it is a macro question. Yes, the question they ask, this is some question can be highly macro in nature. Macro in nature, तो do you have that broader understanding? आपको न्यू लोकलिज्म भी पता है, आपको 74th अमेंडमेंट भी पता है, बट possibility is that कि you may not be able to link. That is the challenge. Yes. So, although it is not, let's say, completely out of box, let's say, question, already when we teach, let's say, new localisms, we do tell that ki how it was, let's say, paradoxical or etc. etc. This. So, again the question comes, आप command कुछ भी लिख दो. कमांड कुछ भी लिख दो, कमांड से क्वेश्चन का अंडरस्टैंडिंग का लिंक नहीं है. दिस वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. अंडरस्टैंडिंग डिमांड्स नॉलेज. दिस तो मेन प्रॉब्लम. आप बोलोगे और कितना नॉलेज होना चाहिए? नॉलेज तब तक आना चाहिए जब तक क्वालिफाई नहीं करते हैं. दैट्स ऑल. Knowledge should keep improving as long as you are appearing. This, because it is relative. It is relative. This relative in the sense कि जब हम लोगों को थोड़ा knowledge होता है, we also change. This, so हर बैच में थोड़ा थोड़ा change होता है. Right. This, anyhow. So that is what you can say. We were saying about commands. Elucidate, you can write example, that you can consider. This question came. Then you explain. The explain also you don't have to criticize, you have to simply explain. It is more or less same, you can consider. Then when we have discussed this, when we have discussed, let's say, so in that discuss we talk about you can explain plus, it is basically we consider explain. Criticism. You can explain and then a bit of criticism you can write, that's all you can say. This. Now examine. This. Yes, someone is writing, it is good, we can say that. So, new localism is about managerial revolution and this is about defeating this. Yes, it shows that you have a bit awareness on that. This. So, examine is generally, let's say, now it is open-ended. This, as I gave example, let's say, when you are examining anything, so you are scrutinizing anything. So when you scrutinize, the scrutiny can bring you 100%, right? This, or it can bring, let's say, 50-50, or it can bring 70-30. So basically, you should know that yes, this can be a bit exception. In general, like in examine also you have to write a bit of criticism. That is a general trend, you can say. Instead of going into this permutation combination, in examine part, let's say, it means also a bit of criticism. आप बोलोगे डिफरेंस क्या है, तो फाइनर एस्पेक्ट में डिफरेंस ये है कि उसमें क्रिटिसिज्म पे नहीं होगा. इफ गिवन क्वेश्चन इज करेक्ट, दिस, बट हार्डली इट इज ए पॉसिबिलिटी, तो वी गो बाय जनरल ट्रेंड. दिस, that can be considered. Next is evaluate. It is pros and cons. So this is a question of 50-50. So you write pros also, you write cons also. This. Then evaluate, we have argue, let's say that. Right. So when we give argue, let's say that argue is something, let's say that ki you, let's say ki give in terms of, let's say ki your views, counter views. This, the argue is demanding views and counter views. This, we can have views and counter views. This, now there is no fixed criteria. Evaluate में ही होता है कि 50-50% होगा. Argue में again this, let's say कि when you are argue giving views and counter views, तो their ratio may differ. The argue is not exactly equal to pros and cons. This, it is not exactly, but some people we find that it is not exactly equal to. Pros and cons. Tone of the question. Largely question जो argue वाला होता है ना, वो थोड़ा controversial type का होता है. Means वो, let's say कि it deals with certain aspect of the development, you will find this, where you have views and counter views. जैसे मान लो कि क्या है, this called freebies, you can say that, right? So freebies are, let's say कि necessary for welfare, but at the same time they affect the financial health of the state या financial accountability of the state. Argue. Yes. So examine में तो ये होता है कि एक साइड से आपने उसको elaborate किया, थोड़ा criticize किया, आंसर लिख दिया, तो फ्लैट आंसर हो गया. आर्ग्यू में कई सारे लेयर्स आ सकते हैं, कई सारे डायमेंशन, तो यू हैव टू ब्रिंग सेवरल डायमेंशंस. It can have welfare also, it can be a problem also, then there are some positive aspect also. This, so it will bring multiple, let's say that views in that. So that way, let's say कि nature of question will be different when they are asking argue. Any question they cannot put as argue. This. So that aspect. Then comment. Comment is a term, let's say basically I say generally that they want to leave you in the ocean and then you can sail through the way you want. They want to see whether you are sailing in a right direction. It is so open-ended. And it is so, then it becomes challenging. इसलिए कि आपको लगता है कि क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करना है, और क्वेश्चन का डिमांड था कि क्रिटिसाइज भी करना है. यू थिंक कि स्टैंड आई डोंट हैव टू टेक, क्वेश्चन डिमांडेड टू टेक स्टैंड. दिस, सो दैट वे लेट्स से दैट कमेंट दे वांट टू आस्क ऑन दोज क्वेश्चंस वेयर they don't want to give you any hint कि how exactly you should answer. This. Rather they leave it to you and whether you will have that hint and you will answer. This. That is what. तो हम लोग कई बार क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कमेंट में तो सोचते हैं कि देखो बच्चे समझते हैं कि नहीं. तो लेट्स आस्क कमेंट दिस. तो that is how the challenge, which you can take positive also and you can take negative also. This, that way we can consider when we say like this. Like I do not have any question, a specific question in mind related to comment, but we can frame any question like this. This isn't it? आजकल चल रहा है coalition politics, तो फिर से पढ़ाएंगे और expected question है. No. Comment means give view. तो give view balance कैसे हो सकता है? No, depending on the nature of question. Again, it will depend. You cannot fix a criteria in comment. comment means give your view. Now what view you are giving? The view will always depend on nature of question. आप बोलो कि क्रिटिसाइज करना है बट क्वेश्चन ही पॉजिटिव है. दिस क्वेश्चन इज we have asked in test 1 some questions, so we'll test that. this, but let's say that कि आजकल coalition politics चल रहा है, या आप if I write let's say that कि this or suppose let's keep it to paper 1. देखो उसमें हम और भी कमांड लिख सकते थे, बट वो जानबूझ के नहीं लिख रहे हैं. जैसे ही कोई और कमांड लिख देंगे तो वो पता चल जाएगा, राइट. जैसे एग्जामिन लिख दिया तो पता चल जाएगा थोड़ा सा क्रिटिसाइज करना है, डिस्कस लिख दिया, इजंट इट. लेकिन कमेंट लिख दिया तो पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि व्हाट आई हैव टू डू. नाउ इट इज लेफ्ट टू यू. दैट इज द चैलेंज. बस तो जीएस में तो आप समझ जाओगे. because this is not that challenging. Many times questions are straightforward. So at the end of the day, writing answer is more important than commands. और जीएस का ऐसा कोई कल्चर मार्केट में डेवलप नहीं हुआ है कि दे विल टॉक यू एंड टीच यू ऑल दिस थिंग्स. नो. अब हाउ यू विल आंसर इट, क्वेश्चन तो आपको पता है सबको. व्हाट यू विल आंसर, इतना तो सबको पता होगा ना, राइट. क्वेश्चन नया है बट आपको डाइकॉटमी आता है, बिना पढ़े भी आता है, मतलब बिना रिवाइज किए भी आता है. तो व्हाट यू विल राइट. No, but question is on that कि the thinkers have mostly misunderstood him. ठीक है, पढ़ के आना, फिर डिसाइड करेंगे. नहीं. First we have to write कि the thinkers, who are the thinkers who misunderstood. Right. This. So you will not write like that कि Simon misunderstood. Rather you will write कि those thinkers who criticize dichotomy. First you will write dichotomy. What was Wilson dichotomy? And then the context, then you have to write that who criticized. Largely dichotomy was rejected by policy thinkers, public policy schools. You will write this. They criticize, reject it. This. That way we can consider. Thereafter, let's say it comes, whether they misunderstood it. It comes then. So whether they misunderstood. This. So that misunderstanding can be understood by the fact what is the status of current dichotomy now. This. As of now, dichotomy is neither fully rejected nor accepted. This. If it is not fully rejected, those who completely rejected, they were not right. This. That you can consider. So, those who fully rejected, they seem to be wrong. They seem to be misunderstanding. This. So, that is what it can say that. That aspect is one. Further, let's say there were also thinkers who say that he vacillated between the two things. Nicholas Henry said it is knave. Yes. So Nicholas Henry can also be wrong because Nicholas Henry has a different view now. Right. First Nicholas Henry also told it is knave concept. Now he himself says that there are separation and twilight zone concept. That aspect. Similarly, Stillman who says he vacillates. But was he vacillating? Now to complementarity model says that separation is also there and reciprocal is also there. So what if he was explaining complex relation but we did not understand? It shows that Wilson was also not fully right when he says that politics is for only policy execution, administration is only for policy. That way he was also wrong. But as far as separation is concerned, he was right. That way it seems that there is misunderstanding or there was misunderstanding by the thinkers and now the relationship has been made more clear. ऐसे आपको आंसर लिखना पड़ेगा. So कमेंट है तो कमेंट से क्या फर्क पड़ता है? फर्क इतना ही पड़ा कि आपका your direction of answer is not known. This, but जैसे ही हम इसको किसी और कमांड में लिखते हैं तो direction is known. So that is the challenge of comment questions nowadays, right? Not in all, but in some questions, let's say that. That is what we can say about comment aspect. So we cannot tell कि comment में exactly force लिखना है कि cons लिखना है, criticize करना है, नहीं करना है. This. Rather, I will tell that if you are able to understand questions, so that will solve your problem of command. Because many a time once you understand the question, the command can help you that how we have to write. Since you are not understanding the question, that is how let's say challenge you can consider. This then next. Critically analyze this. So when we have critical analysis, so first you should know about analysis. Analysis aspect. So analysis is nothing but giving in-depth view. Analysis is nothing but giving in-depth view. Now, when we go by critical, it puts condition. It puts condition. This. What condition? मान लो हम इसी को चेंज कर देते हैं. Critically analyze. क्या चेंज हो जाएगा? अब आपको एविडेंस देना पड़ेगा. दिस फर्स्ट कमेंट वाला क्वेश्चन तो चलेगा, आप डिप्लोमेटिक हो सकते हैं, राइट. तो यू कैन आंसर डिप्लोमेटिकली विदाउट गिविंग सम सब्सटेंस फैक्ट्स, किसने क्या बोला. It is not conditioned. Now here if we have critically analyzed, now they have put a condition. You tell that who were those thinkers misunderstood Wilson. This. And that is the condition in this. If you are not writing, that is the demand, you are not addressing the demand of question, even if in a generic way you may have written the answer. तो जैसे हमने नाम लिया, आपको और भी नाम लेना पड़ेगा, और अभी हमें क्रिटिकल होना पड़ेगा, राइट. आई टोल्ड स्टिल मैन, दिस ही मिसअंडरस्टूड, ही से यू वैसिलेटेड, दिस दैट एस्पेक्ट कैन बी रिटन. व्हेन वी राइट क्रिटिसिज्म, फ्रेडरिक्स टोल्ड दैट कि नो, ही डिड नॉट वांट कंप्लीट सेपरेशन, दिस दैट यू हैव टू राइट. देन मोशर, लेट्स से दैट फ्रेडरिक मोशर, he say no, he wanted to maintain dichotomy, this that aspect. Martin, he says there should be fusion. अब आपको आंसर का स्टैंडर्ड बदल जाए. this so critically analyze means कि already question has been framed keeping in mind कि you have to bring those facts in the answer. this and unless you fulfill, it will not be considered as addressing the demand. Critically analyze does not mean rejecting the question. This, because we can write without bringing change in the question, but critically examine लिखने के लिए change करना पड़ेगा. अगर I have to, suppose I have to write critically examine, then I will have to change it. This. Was not misdistributed. Then आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा बस. तो क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन मीन्स क्वेश्चन ही गलत फ्रेम किया. तो एक बार जो समझ गया है वो जान जाता है, वो चैलेंज नहीं है. दिस प्रोवाइडेड दिस कमांड इज गिवन टुवर्ड्स एंड, इफ कमांड इज गिवन टुवर्ड्स बिगिनिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, सो इट इज प्रोस एंड कॉन्स. Same thing related to critically evaluate, both have the same meaning. Yes, someone was just telling something.
That the misunderstanding by the Simon or all these things, could we say that that led to the CPA?
उसका कोई रिलेवेंस नहीं है. नहीं, उससे वो सीपीए से क्या रिलेशन? That has nothing to do with CPA. No. That is out of context you can consider. It is out of context, right? The thing you are talking. Yes. So this is what we can consider as far as some of the things. Yes. Yes. So when we say, let's say, critically examine, yes, critically examine the view of Simon on this So question ही ऐसे frame है कि you have to write pros of his view and cons of his view. Right? तो pros में क्या लिखेंगे? Now you know it. What you will write in pros? You don't have to reject anything. Question will be framed in that way. This. Like critically examine EWS reservation. आपको उसको क्या लिखना है? Pros and cons. So here pros you have to write about Simon. Whatever the criticism he had on classical theory, उसका pros लिखना है. Right. This. And since he was very extreme, his view was very extreme, तो उसमें flaws था, तो उसका cons लिखना है. So he says that there should be empirical, but normative is also relevant. He says decision making is main aspect, but it is one of the aspect. That aspect. He rejects classical theory, but principles are also important. This. तो आपको pros and cons लिखना है. That is all. But if you have to write towards end, तो हमें उस question को change करना पड़ेगा. This. We'll have to. I will change the question. Like Simon's view on classical theory was quite radical and less acceptable. Critically examined. This. The question has changed. So that is what we have to. So when they are asking critically examine, let's say towards end, so basically the nature of question is different. When they are asking in before, it's before question, the nature of question is different. This. Largely, let's say that you should follow 2-3 things in terms of commands. There are some commands which do not demand criticism. You should keep in mind. There are some commands which demand criticism. There is one command which demands pros and cons, and there is one command which demands rejection of the question if it is asked towards end of the question. These 3-4 things, this is how you have to remember, right? This. That you can consider. Then finally it comes the question related to. So 4-5 days or 4 days, I think 3-4 days, yes. 3-4 days we will have the class in which we have to teach you some of the topics. This. That way we can say. So we have combined, since we have started enrichment batch separately, plus we have left some of the classes for them, so we teach you. Then we will start our, let's say that practice and others like this. So which you can, those who are willing to practice, they can also continue like this. In that generally it happens that 3-4 days we teach especially the contemporary developments. This, with we can have 1-2 practices also, not a problem. Thereafter we generally give you 3-4 questions, you write answer, we check it and we discuss it. This. And we go on adding, having value additions, let's say. The discussion, let's say. This. That way it will continue almost 2 months. This. I think 3 days we have kept. Yes, 3 days we have kept, let's say that. So because time factor, etc., let's say. That way we will try to continue. So let's start chapter 1, some of the things we can start. This. Paper 1, chapter 1. So largely in this, the topic which we have to cover is called Post-NPM. Post-NPM models. This. In Post-NPM models, we have this. basically we, for online people, what we do is that you write and mail us. We just try to show in the discussion class what you have written. That way it is done. This, or later on it can be evaluated. Instantly evaluating is very challenging. That's why let's say that class, because of online culture, it has also got diluted, I will tell. Diluted in the sense that online has given the chance that you can attend online. Then the crowd, let's say, gets divided. The presence in the class becomes thin. When it becomes thin, so then class का effect उस तरह से नहीं होता है जबकि सारे लोग क्लास में होते हैं, तो उसका एक इफेक्ट अलग होता है. ऑनलाइन कल्चर हैज़, तो वी कैन नॉट गो अगेंस्ट ऑनलाइन कल्चर. दिस इज हाउ इट इज. तो पहले का अलग वो होता था, इफेक्ट्स होते थे. अब का इट्स डाइल्यूटेड कल्चर. दिस प्लस कन्वीनियंस भी होता है कि चलो अब मैं ऑनलाइन देख लूँगा. दिस बट कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो आप कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं कर सकते ना. This, the basics, the fundamentals, the practice that demands, let's say, shortcut तो होता नहीं है. The optionals do not have shortcut. जो लोग भी मार्क्स लेने वाले लोग हैं वो शॉर्टकट वाले लोग हैं नहीं. You can see that, and every year it happens. This, तो वो GS वाला कल्चर है नहीं कि जैसे तैसे थोड़ा मोड़ा फैक्ट्स वगैरह इधर उधर आ गया. And hooks to crooks, this is how hooks and crooks, isn't it? हो जाएगा. ऑप्शनल में वो चलेगा नहीं. जैसे क्वेश्चन आता है समझने में आपको, खासकर पेपर 1 में तो अब इतना चैलेंज नहीं है, बट पेपर 2 में चैलेंज बढ़ गया है. दिस anyhow, let's come to this. So we will teach also, although we have told you in general, but third party also will teach this time. Public service motivation, we have been teaching, let's say that, since that it was asked in 2021. I guess this. Fortunately, that year we also asked in mock test public passion approach. इसलिए कि हमें भी मिल गया था वो डॉक्यूमेंट. तो वी कीप सर्चिंग कि कुछ नया आया है क्या मार्केट में. तो UNDP का एक पेपर है, तो दैट पेपर वाज टॉकिंग, और UPSC ने उसी पेपर से वो क्वेश्चन पूछा था, पब्लिक सर्विस मोटिवेशन. बट ये हमेशा होता नहीं है, राइट. और एक स्टूडेंट था, अभी भी याद है, कि जब मॉक टेस्ट में हम लोगों ने पब्लिक पैशन वाला पूछा क्वेश्चन, वो क्वेश्चन देखकर ही भड़क गया, मतलब पैनिक हो गया. और क्वेश्चन मतलब टेस्ट लिखा ही नहीं, टेंशन में आ गया. टेंशन में आ गया कि क्वेश्चन आता नहीं है, राइट. और सर ने क्या पूछ दिया है मतलब मॉक टेस्ट में. बस anyhow, but that's not a point. तो neo-Weberian state they have asked once. एक साल और उन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, वो ये क्वेश्चन पूछा है जेनरिक वे कि पोस्ट NPM मॉडल्स का इम्पैक्ट क्या है. Impact, it can be one. How many times they have asked? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Almost 8 times you can consider. It means कि it has become a recognized topic. It has become a recognized topic, you should know that. NPS they have asked 3 times, so we do not think they will ask again, but we don't know why UPSC keep asking. Right. NPS again and again. Right. They can ask again. Let's say you cannot say that they will not ask. When they ask neo-Weberian state, then we got confidence that now NPM is, post-NPM is established topic. This, because after so many years they ask neo-Weberian state. This, that you can consider. So you should know them. We have been expecting that they will ask this, they will ask this, but they have not asked. If you take test model answers that we give, so it is given also there. In this test, that test, certainly we may have included this. But we'll try to talk about them, and then we'll try to, let's say that also talk by after talking this, we'll also talk about status of, dynamic status of paradigm. This, how they have influenced paradigm, let's say that. All these developments, how all these developments are influencing the emerging paradigm of public administration. Yes. Whether they result into next paradigm, that is how we say state of quandary. This, so that way. And today or tomorrow, certainly that type of question will be asked. Simply let me tell in the outset itself, every year it happens, guessing also works. UPSC paper is reflection of also current and contemporary developments. No paper is going to be dissociated from current and contemporary developments, be it optional subject or GS paper. This. So that's why we cannot ignore today or tomorrow, this is how they ask. This. So, about post-NPM models. Just we'll take brief, then we'll talk tomorrow about this. We'll take tomorrow. Since there were flaws in NPM, already criticisms were given. That's why let's say that post-NPM started, thinkers started formulating different models. You should know that governance and good governance are not post-NPM models, because they are the simultaneous development with new public management. This. When there is development after new public management, especially its decline, like decline in the sense that you have operational experience of new public management, and operational experiences also show all those the findings, how NPM was not as effective, what were the flaws in NPM. When they started finding those flaws plus other developments, they gave rise to those post-NPM models. This. And those things are, let's say that trying to bring a new perspective in public administration. Like, let's say there was a time that we talked there should be performance accountability. Then we started talking there should be democratic accountability. This. Now a time came that how to align both. Can we have any model which can align both? There is performance accountability also and democratic accountability also. Yes, that is the development. That results into new public governance. This. So that way. Similarly, let's say new public service. The new public service is nothing but, let's say new public management goes on giving lots of emphasis on production, performance, let's say customer, those things. So new public service tries to balance it. Because in democracy, you cannot have more emphasis on production only, growth, production, customer orientation. You can give emphasis, but ultimate emphasis should be on service motive, citizens, this value citizens, not productivity. This, that aspect can be considered. That is how it resulted in new public service. There are different models. Now the question will be that what these models, let's say whether they have vagueness, whether they are, let's say that can we consider emerging paradigm, what similarities they have, what differences they have. So far no any question has been asked about comparison among them. Yes, अभी तक जो question आया है वो न्यू पब्लिक मैनेजमेंट NPS का है या न्यू पब्लिक मैनेजमेंट ट्रेडिशनल पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का है. बट क्या एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है NPA और NPS? तो ये तो जब UPSC पूछेगा तब पढ़ाएंगे हम लोग. So that is what you should know, that these are the things we can take, that is what we can consider. Plus we'll take some question, let's say some, if you have anything to you can ask also. Right. Dichotomy, I can tell a bit when we'll take, let's say that. Yes, I can take on this. Challenge in making short notes. What is your challenge?
Sir,
Yes.
like one test series is enough for answer right?
ऑप्शनल में तो ऐसे ही है.
Like you are also providing 1 year model, so should you solve that also? You like whatever you are like test series we are giving. So 8-10 tests you are providing. So only that is sufficient. If you ask 1 year model answer to the issue.
Depends on, let's say that कि the flaws, let's say that. See, the challenge is, let's say that कि yes, you can have practice at home. That is important because writing answer आज के डेट में कल्चर है ये. और आज के डेट में चूंकि जिस तरीके का चैलेंज है यूपीएससी में, तो आंसर लिखने का कल्चर है कि नहीं आपको आंसर लिखना चाहिए. दिस although by heart we do not support it, इसलिए कि देखो आपको तो अपने प्रॉब्लम्स को एड्रेस करना है. अगर आपके पास प्रॉब्लम ये है कि यू आर नॉट एबल टू एक्सप्रेस योर सेल्फ, तो राइटिंग में प्रैक्टिस होना चाहिए. लेकिन आपको लगता है कि जहाँ पे कंटेंट है एंड यू आर एबल टू एक्सप्रेस योर सेल्फ, इसका मतलब कि हमारा कंटेंट और जगह भी इम्प्रूव होता है तो हम अच्छा लिख सकते हैं. पहला चीज़ है. दूसरा, सी कंटेंट इम्प्रूव होने का कोई लिमिट नहीं है ना. दिस तो दोनों में बैलेंस होना चाहिए. क्या हमारे पास अच्छे कंटेंट्स हैं, तो क्या आपके पास अगेन द सेम प्रॉब्लम कम्स, नोट्स प्रिपेयर्ड है और हमारे पास सबके नोट्स होने चाहिए. आपके पास जीएस के भी नोट्स होने चाहिए और जो रेलेवेंट टॉपिक्स है उसके नोट्स, एग्जाम्पल्स, लिंक, ये सारे चीज़ होना चाहिए. जैसे लिंक की बात कर रहे हैं कि लिंक कैसे करना है, तो लिंक तो एक नेचुरल प्रोसेस है. दिस लेट्स से दैट कि समवन टोल्ड दैट कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत, तो आत्मनिर्भर भारत को हम कैसे थियरी से लिंक कर सकते हैं. यस, तो थियरी से लिंक करने का मतलब ये है ना कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत किसको फोकस करता है. इट इज अबाउट सेल्फ एम्पावरमेंट ना. पीपल शुड बी एम्पावर्ड. तो पीपल एम्पावरमेंट के लिए कौन फोकस कर सकता है, किस थियरी से हम लिंक कर सकते हैं या किस स्कूल ऑफ थॉट से कर सकते हैं. दिस so we can talk Mary Parker Follett, you can talk indirectly, let's say that is what they talk about human, their basic emphasis on human, this empowering human, this that aspect. If you want to link, that can be, although it is not necessary कि आप उसी से लिंक करते हैं, आप कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच से भी लिंक कर सकते हैं. this that can also be one aspect. So it is not necessarily कि only you link with the theory aspect. So link should be there and it should be obvious. this तो आप माइंड में ये होना चाहिए. जैसे आप फेडरल पॉलिटी प्रिपेयर कर लो तो आप सोचते हो किस थिंकर से हम लिंक कर सकते हैं. दिस तो उस समय आप किसी भी थिंकर से लिंक करके देख सकते हैं, राइट. बट वो आर्टिफिशियल नहीं होना चाहिए. आंसर्स में आप लिंक करो, अगर आर्टिफिशियल होगा तो रिमार्क्स में आएगा कि ये सही नहीं है. आप प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. बस बट आई विल टेल दैट कि लिंकिंग इज नॉट एज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज द आंसर पर्सन. आप आत्मनिर्भर भारत को आत्मनिर्भर भारत के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ही यू आंसर इट, इट इज गुड आंसर. दिस if you are answering in that now you are not answering in the context of Atmanirbhar Bharat, its content, and suppose you link it this. So that's why we always tell that, no, we always tell it should be so natural. The natural is that if you are writing Atmanirbhar Bharat, you write Atmanirbhar Bharat, no need to link it. अगर वो naturally आता है तो ठीक है, नहीं आता है तो not a problem. this सोसाइटी लेट से दैट कि देखो होता क्या है कि अब एक बार किसी ने मान लो 6 मार दिया लास्ट बॉल पे, अब वो लगा आपको टिप्स देने, राइट, कि बैटिंग इंप्रूव कैसे करना है. अजीब बात है. तो दिस वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट ना, वी हैव ए लॉन्ग एक्सपीरियंस. तो वी नो डैट कि किस स्टूडेंट का कैसे मार्क्स आया है, बट चूंकि वो सक्सेस हो गया ना तो हम आपको ओपनली नहीं बता सकते. यस तो कुछ ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स हैं कि दे मे नॉट डिजर्व बट दे गेट मार्क्स. भाई हुक्स एंड क्रूक्स आ गया. अब वो टिप्स आपको देने लगा कि जीएस का एग्जाम्पल लिखो, जीएस जैसा लिखो. अजीब बात है. बस दूसरे को फेल करवाएगा वो. बस अब व्हाट यू डू दैट कि यू स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट वन, तो यू फॉरगेट अबाउट द प्रोसेस एंड इट इज नॉट वर्किंग. This, I still remember one candidate, he got 167 in paper second. That was highest. 4-5 years back का story है. It was highest. Do you know? That candidate has still not qualified. This. That candidate has not still qualified. उस साल भी नहीं क्वालिफाई किया था. तो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कंसिस्टेंसी. तो कंसिस्टेंसी इज कॉल्ड कि देखो बेसिक तो हमेशा वर्क करेगा ना. अब वो बैट्समैन हमेशा वर्क नहीं करेगा. राइट, वंस अपॉन ए टाइम पूरे लाइफ में होता है ऐसा. बट लेट्स से कि जो बैट्समैन है जिसका बेसिक फुटवर्क क्लियर है ना, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ही विल बी कंसिस्टेंट. So that is what we will tell. So you work on weaknesses. Even 10 tests you are writing sincerely, it's enough. This agar if you have to practice, so there are 28 questions. You are writing 19 questions answers. It means still you have 9 questions left. The 9 questions multiplied by 10, 90 questions. In 2 months, 60 days you have. So utilization, time utilization, it's like the way you utilize it depends on you. उस 9 क्वेश्चन का डिस्कशन भी होता है, मॉडल आंसर भी होता है. यू कैन हैव सेल्फ इवेल्युएशन. यस, दैट वे इट इज. दैट इज हाउ द प्रैक्टिस. आई विल से दैट लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स पीपल आर राइटिंग डिफिकल्ट टू रिप्लाई एवरीथिंग. मॉडल आंसर में सब कुछ रेलेवेंट होता है, तो व्हाट आई शुड डू? No, it's not relevant. That everything is relevant. Yes, try to take the things which are not in your notes, and some questions are those questions which may not be covered under that because of we asked, let's say that some questions with odd man type. So try to minimize notes, write only some facts or 1-2 key points. This should be the approach. Don't try to write everything. Right. No, it will not be through YouTube. We have now got a different platform, so we will start with this. Yes, someone is saying कि how will besides class notes and model answer, जब आप आंसर लिखोगे ना तब पता चलेगा कि what more we can add in that. This basically related to some recent developments that can be considered. How to make short notes? Watch that video. She will tell how to make short note. Don't try to go for other sources. Try to follow. आप इतना ही absorb नहीं कर पाओगे. Right. आपके पास ऑलरेडी 10 क्वेश्चन के मॉडल आंसर है, आपके नोट्स है, प्लस अगले 10 टेस्ट के मॉडल आंसर होगा. आप कितना पढ़ोगे यार? ऑलरेडी वो 10 टेस्ट कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे जो रिसेंट डेवलपमेंट्स है. प्लस जीएस में तो आप पढ़ रहे हो ना, तो जीएस यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग. तो व्हेन जीएस यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग, तो जीएस में तो दैट टॉपिक यू आल्सो प्रिपेयर व्हिच आर रिलेटेड टू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. दिस then hardly let's say that this is how we'll say that more is left. Right. See, 4-5 days or 4 days we will have class. I will teach you simply the way I used to teach. but only thing is that ki new topics. That is how it is. Thereafter you ask how the class will proceed. What you should do, someone asking in next 6 months. 6 months तो इसमें 2-3 महीना तो हिमालय पे जाओ. Right. देखो ऑलरेडी आपने प्रीलिम्स दिया होगा, मुझे पता है, तो पता चल गया होगा. This I mean to say that कि क्या लेवल ऑफ प्रिपरेशन है, क्या होना चाहिए. नो बहुत सारे लोग मानते नहीं है, प्रीलिम्स में अपीयर होते हैं माना करने के बाद भी. तो अब तो पता चल गया होगा, एनी हाउ रिजल्ट आने वाला है. यस राइट, हो सकता है पहले भी आ जाए. एनी हाउ सी, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, बी ग्राउंडेड, हैव ए प्लान. Those who are not appearing, those who are appearing, you should plan as per the tests. The tests are there. Take the schedule. आप वैसे ही अपना स्टडी प्लान कर लो. Those who are appearing next year, तो they should draw a plan. और पहला प्लान तो यही होना चाहिए कि मुझे पता है कि आपने पब्लिक एड रिवाइज नहीं किया होगा. बस इसलिए कि जो जिन्होंने प्रीलिम्स दिया है, जिन्होंने नहीं दिया है, दोनों ने नहीं रिवाइज किया होगा. उसका वजह ये है कि जिसका बैच खत्म हो गया वो घर गया, और जिसको प्रीलिम्स देना था वो तो जनवरी से ही, फरवरी से ही पढ़ना छोड़ दिया था. मुझे पता है ये सब. जस्ट यू केम इन क्लास टू नोट, इजंट इट, टू मेंटेन इट. तो पता भी नहीं होगा कि आपको कि बाकी के 2-3 बुकलेट्स में उसमें क्या लिखा है आपने. यू रिवाइज इट, फॉलो ए रूटीन, इट इज़ वेरी सीरियस. नहीं तो नेक्स्ट ईयर भी मई बहुत दूर नहीं है. ये आप पूछ सकते हो जो लोग 1-2 अटेम्प्ट दे चुके हैं. तो मई इज नॉट फार अवे ना, ऑलरेडी जून इज गॉन. You draw a plan, execute it. Even if you study average, but execute it. In 3 months, you revise public administration, write short notes, write some test. If not 3 months, 4 months. This July, August, September, October. This is how it is. Then November onwards, focus more on GS side. This GS, SAT, this is how you can do. Although, keep GS also 1-2 things, 1-2 hours also keep GS alive. Don't keep GS completely to November, December. Otherwise, very difficult. But most of the time you should focus on optional. Why? अब आपके पास रिस्क ज़्यादा है. रिस्क ज़्यादा इसलिए है कि भूलने का रिस्क है. तो आप भूल जाओगे तो वो फिर you know that what will happen. So unless you revise properly, it is not, let's say that possible to have confidence in optional. This plus challenge is more in the sense कि next time prelims के लिए ये आपको grace mark थोड़े मिलेगा. This so now you are appearing and you should qualify. The challenge is more. You should raise the standard of preparation. This means जैसे rigorously क्लास आप करते थे, क्लास में पढ़ते थे ना, आप वैसे ही rigorously घर में पढ़ने की कोशिश करो. दिस आप 2 घंटे 3 घंटा बिना किसी ये एक्सटर्नियस वेरिएबल जो फ़ोन होता है, दिस बिना इसके आप पढ़ो ना, 2-3 घंटा फ़ोन बंद कर दो. दिस इज हाउ डिसोसिएट योर सेल्फ फ्रॉम सोशल मीडिया ना, स्टॉप ऑल दिस डाइवर्जेंस. नहीं तो इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट. राइट, आप सोचो कि आप पढ़ रहे हो. पढ़ने का मतलब सिर्फ ये नहीं कि लेकर के रिवाइज, सीरियसली पढ़ो ना. आप सेट करो टारगेट, एक दिन में आप एक चैप्टर रिवाइज कर रहे हो, एक टॉपिक रिवाइज कर रहे हो. आप टॉपिक रिवाइज करो, क्वेश्चन पेपर देखो, 1-2 आंसर लिखो. ये सीरियस एक्सरसाइज हो. हाउ यू ट्रेन योर सेल्फ. अदरवाइज जब मई में जून में जब जो नहीं दिया है आएगा ना इस क्लास में, तब मैं बताऊंगा. सॉरी, ऐसा कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, बट दिस ले से मैं पूछूंगा फिर. दैट इज हाउ यू शुड नो दैट, and it is the best time for you. It is the best time for you, your UPSC attempt, those who are going to write next year, उनके पास 1 साल है बस कुछ करने के लिए. And you can also do better if other people can do better. That is how I can say that. The rest is action, not talk. This. The more it should come by action, practice. Lecture का कोई बहुत ज़्यादा relevance नहीं है. This. So let's come from tomorrow we'll talk.